Good morning. It's 8 o'clock. My neck is killing me, man. Last week I had a neck issue, which took a week to recover. I came back well on Saturday, and then this morning, same bullshit issue, man. Next, it ain't getting any better, I think. Anyway, this will be a little impromptu podcast today, a little impromptu Periscope. Game of Thrones last night, another filler-ish episode. And everybody's bitching about it again, too, for the second week in a row. Oh, where's the action at? Where's all the action in Game of Thrones? Dude, all they're doing right now, it's a short season, and the last three episodes are literally 78, 80, and 80 minutes each, okay? All they're doing at this point now is setting up for the grand finale. We know starting next week on Game of Thrones, we know all the action starts next week. I mean, the dead is pretty much right there. It's about to happen. I love the dialogue in Game of Thrones. I think people forget, as great as the actions in the show, and obviously the action's amazing on the show, but as amazing as it is, the dialogue is amazing. The dialogue is just as good, if not better. And I think people need to appreciate the writing and some of the clever quirks of the show. And I think everybody bitching about it every day, these first two episodes, that there's not enough action in the episodes, need to shut the fuck up, honestly. I mean, the writing has been incredible. Something really cool, seeing everybody together again and trying to figure out, what to do going forward, and if they beat the dead, and if they don't beat the dead, and what's the reaction. I think they're getting to the emotion in the show now, because once we get into like episode 3, 4, 5, and of course 6 at the end of the series, that's all we're gonna have is action. You're gonna be inundated with action the rest of the way. So I wish people to stop complaining about there's no action in these episodes, because everything on this show serves a purpose. Okay, like everything in life, there's a purpose to everything in life. This show serves a purpose. Everything happens in the show serves a purpose. And I think we need to stop bitching about everything, about the fact that there's no action on it yet. Because I think everything's been great. I think there's one thing to have filler episodes. Like, I understand having filler on albums and filler on episodes of shows, whatever. But Game of Thrones filler doesn't feel like filler anyway. So I mean, I just understand why everybody this morning is bitching about the fact there's no action in the shows. Trust me, there'll be a lot of stuff to digest in the next 4 episodes. A lot to digest. So that's my opinion on that. So Thrones, in my opinion, another good episode. I mean, I'm not complaining. Another good episode. So I think this is the first time for me in many years that I really obviously I'm following the NBA playoffs. I'm a junkie, of course, but I think this year is the first time I'm not really into it as much. I think other than a few moments, Clippers, come back in game 2 with a 3-1 point deficit, Brooklyn shocking the world, Toronto shocking the world, the first game ones. Everything's gone chalk pretty much. I mean, I guess the OKC series is the only one that's kind of sort of surprising. I mean, I had OKC in 6, but I thought because of the Nurkic injury, that'd be the reason why they lose that series. But the playoffs so far in the first round has been very uninteresting. I mean, other than a few moments. Again, it is what it is. I mean, people complain about ratings are down 20%, and maybe that's the LeBron effect. And I would think maybe to some degree there is a LeBron effect. But I mean, I'm enjoying it. I think as we get to the second round and beyond, the playoffs are going to get really good. I'm not even worried about that. We all knew that in the Eastern Conference that it starts heating up once you get to the Final Four in the East. Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Boston, of course, who swept Indiana yesterday, and who am I missing here? Milwaukee, Toronto. Once we get to the Final Four in the East, that's when things start to heighten up. I think it's cool also too, because we're going to get it eventually, Houston and Golden State. I think it's better for Houston that they play Golden State earlier rather than later, like last year. Because I think when they play Golden State in the second round, which is going to happen because Houston's up 3-0 in their series, Golden State's up 3-1 in their series, and they're going to take care of business this week. I think it's better for Houston because I think Houston can guarantee they'll have Chris Paul healthy and their roster healthier now as opposed to later. I still think Golden State's a better team. Wow, a lot of sun here. I think Golden State's still a better team, but I do think that Houston's scary as shit. Houston's scary as shit, and I think they're going to pose a problem for the Warriors this time around. I think the Warriors, they had to wake up call in game 2, but again, it's the Clippers. I mean, they were a solid team this year, but they're not on the level of the Warriors. But I think that Warriors-Rockets series is going to be something to watch, and I think Chris Paul healthy and even James Harden. I mean, it's a bad sign. It's a good sign. If you're a Rockets fan, it's a good sign that James Harden has one of his worst shooting games of his entire career in the playoffs, and they still win on the road against a quality Utah team who was one of the hottest teams in the league coming to the playoffs. So, I'm a Houston fan. I'm pretty confident, and I think also you draw well also by getting. I think you draw better by getting Golden State early because you're guaranteed to be healthier for the series, and I don't know, it's gonna be a fun series. I can't wait. And I think everybody's complaining about like obviously San Antonio and Denver and all that. That's probably the only compelling series at this point now. Both tied at 2. I'm home now. But the funny thing is that side of the bracket's sick because you say what you want about San Antonio and Denver and Portland and OKC. One of those 4 teams will end in the conference finals because of the way where they're set with the bracket. So the playoffs, why does it feel compelling right now? It's going to pick up very soon. Trust me. So, all right, that's a quick impromptu morning, unfiltered. We'll get back later. I'm home. I'm going to go back to sleep. I'm tired. Go get to school. All right, later. Love you guys. Kisses.